At 7:40 on a Tuesday night, the average messy home is not destroyed by one dramatic disaster. It is defeated by tiny decisions. Shoes stay by the couch. Mail lands on the counter. A mug waits beside the bed. A jacket hangs from a chair because technically you might wear it again. None of it feels serious, but by Saturday the house has quietly created a second job for you. Now look at the opposite system. In many Japanese homes, the goal is not to become better at cleaning a mess. The goal is to interrupt the mess before it becomes visible, and that changes everything. Today we are going through 7 habits that can make a home feel lighter without turning your life into an endless cleaning schedule. Habit number 4 is especially strange because it asks you to protect something most people think is wasted space. And habit number 7 is the reason the whole system can survive even during your busiest weeks. But the first habit begins before you are fully inside your own home. First, an important truth. Not every Japanese home is spotless, and not everyone in Japan follows the same routine. People get tired, families get busy, apartments get cluttered. This is not about pretending an entire country lives inside a minimalist showroom. It is about noticing patterns. Japan has long-standing practices that treat cleanliness, shared responsibility, limited space, and the care of objects differently from the way many of us are taught to think about them. The familiar Genkan separates outside shoes from the interior of the home. In many Japanese schools, students take part in cleaning shared spaces as part of school life. The idea of Mottainai expresses regret at waste and encourages care for resources. And the tradition of Osoji, the major year-end cleaning, treats a reset as a meaningful transition rather than random punishment after months of neglect. What happens when you take the logic behind those ideas and bring it into an ordinary American home? You stop asking, how can I clean faster? And you start asking a much more powerful question. How can I create less mess to begin with? That question leads to habit number 1. Habit 1. Build a border at the door. Walk into many Japanese homes and you meet a small architectural pause before you meet the living room, the Genkan. It is not simply a place to decorate with a bench and a basket. It marks a boundary between outside and inside. Shoes come off before entering the main living space, which helps prevent outdoor dirt from traveling room to room. Official cultural material from Web Japan describes the Genkan as the place where shoes are removed and stored, specifically noting that shoes are taken off to help keep floors clean. But the deeper lesson is bigger than shoes. The lesson is this: every home needs a border. Think about what crosses your front door with no system. Shoes, backpacks, receipts, delivery boxes, keys, jackets, bottles, junk mail. None arrives dramatically. They arrive one by one. That is why they spread. A package sits on the table. For now. Keys land beside it. A bag drops near the stairs. 2 days later, the table has become storage for decisions nobody wants to make. So create a border. Not an expensive entryway makeover, a border. Choose one small zone near the entrance and give incoming objects a decision before they travel farther. Shoes stop here, keys go here, mail is either action, recycle, or file. Bags hang here. Delivery packaging is opened and removed instead of migrating into the kitchen. The rule is simple. Outside objects do not get unlimited access to the home. And here is where this becomes powerful. You are not cleaning more. You are reducing the distance a future mess can travel. Try this tonight. Stand at your front door and look inward. Ask yourself, what are the first 5 objects I usually drop when I come home? Give each one a permanent landing place within a few steps, because once dirt and clutter cross the border, every room becomes part of the cleanup. But physical dirt is only the first enemy. The second habit stops something more subtle, unfinished motion. Habit 2. Finish the last 10 seconds. Most household mess is not created by big tasks. It is created by tasks that are 90% complete. You make coffee, but the spoon stays on the counter. You open a package, but the empty box stays by the door. You fold laundry, but one stack waits on the chair. You cook dinner, wipe the counter, and leave the oil bottle beside the stove because you are already mentally done. This is the strange psychology of clutter. The final 10 seconds often feel harder than the first 10 minutes. So the second habit is to train yourself to finish the last 10 seconds of an action. This is not an ancient Japanese rule with a special name. It is a practical habit inspired by a broader pattern. Maintenance as participation, not just rescue. Japan's education ministry describes children cooperating to clean classrooms, hallways, and lavatories in turns. Now bring that principle home. Do not ask, is the room clean? Ask, did I complete the action? After breakfast, the action is not complete when you finish eating. It is complete when the dish is handled and the eating space is reset. After changing clothes, the action is not complete when you feel comfortable. It is complete when the old clothes have a destination. After bringing groceries inside, the action is not complete when the food reaches the kitchen. It is complete when the reusable bags are returned to their place and the packaging is gone. It sounds too small to matter. That is exactly why it works. A huge Saturday cleanup contains hundreds of unfinished endings. Each object becomes a question. Where does this go? Do I need it? Why is this here? Finishing the last 10 seconds removes those questions while the answer is still obvious. You already know where the olive oil belongs because you are holding it. You already know whether the package is empty because you just opened it. You already know whether the shirt is dirty because you just took it off. The cheapest time to make a household decision is the moment the decision is clear. For the next 24 hours, do not try to clean your whole house. Just catch 3 actions at 90% and finish their last 10 seconds. You may notice something uncomfortable. The mess was never demanding hours. It was collecting abandoned seconds. And habit number 3 takes that idea into the room where abandoned seconds become sticky, greasy, and much harder to fix. Habit 3, clean before the mess. Cools down after cooking. There is a moment when the kitchen is dirty but still easy. The pan is warm, sauce has not hardened, crumbs are loose. Wait long enough and the same mess changes character. Now the rice is glued to the pot. The oil is tacky. The spill has dried into the counter. What required a quick rinse becomes soaking, scraping, and frustration. So habit number 3 is simple. Clean the mess while it is still young. This is not uniquely Japanese. The useful connection is the maintenance mindset. Make the smallest correction at the easiest moment instead of waiting for rescue. Picture 2 versions of the same evening. In the first, you finish dinner and leave everything because you deserve to rest. Fair enough. But tomorrow morning, the kitchen greets you before the day has even begun. You need coffee, but the sink is full. You need a clean pan, but last night is still inside it. Before 8 a.m., yesterday has already borrowed energy from today. In the second version, you do not deep clean the kitchen. You run hot water into the pan while it is still warm. You wipe one fresh spill. You put leftovers away before sitting down. 4 minutes later, you stop. The room is not magazine perfect, but tomorrow is protected. That is the hidden purpose of this habit. You are not cleaning for the current version of yourself. You are removing friction for the next version. And this works beyond the kitchen. Mud is easier to deal with before it dries. Bathroom moisture is easier to manage before it sits. A fresh spill is easier than a stain. A receipt is easier to classify before it becomes part of a mysterious paper pile. The practical rule is this: when a mess will become physically or mentally harder with time, do the smallest useful action now. Not everything, the smallest useful action. Rinse, wipe, hang, air, return, discard. This distinction matters because perfection kills consistency. If every dinner requires a 30-minute kitchen ritual, you will eventually rebel against your own system. But if the rule is simply, do not let easy mess become hard mess, the habit can survive tired nights. Now, the first 3 habits have all been about action. Habit number 4 is about restraint. And for many people, it is the hardest one because it requires you to see an empty surface and resist the urge to fill it. Habit 4. Protect one piece of nothing. Look around your home and find an empty space, a clear corner of the kitchen counter, the center of the dining table, the top of a dresser, one shelf with breathing room. Now ask a strange question. How long does that space usually survive? In many homes, emptiness is treated like an invitation. A bare surface attracts a charger, then sunglasses, then unopened mail, then a candle nobody lights. Then a small basket designed to organize the objects that were never supposed to live there. Soon, the basket becomes clutter with walls. Japanese aesthetics offer a different way to think about emptiness. In Japanese art and design, negative space is often treated as meaningful rather than unfinished. Japan's official tourism material discusses the importance of empty space in art such as calligraphy and ikebana, where untouched space contributes to balance and visual rest. You do not need to turn your home into a Zen temple. Just protect one piece of nothing, choose one visible surface, and declare that its emptiness has a job. Maybe the dining table stays mostly clear because its job is to receive people, not paperwork. Maybe one section of the kitchen counter remains empty because its job is to make cooking easier. Maybe the nightstand holds only a lamp and the book you are actually reading because its job is to help the day end quietly. A full surface has no tolerance. One new object makes it look worse. An intentionally open surface gives you capacity when life happens. You can unload groceries without moving decorations, fold a shirt without clearing a chair, or eat dinner without relocating an office. Here is the challenge. Choose a space no bigger than a serving tray and keep it empty for 7 days. Do not organize it. Do not decorate it. Protect it. At first, you may feel that you are wasting useful space, but by day 3, you may notice that the empty area is doing something every object failed to do. It is making the rest of the room feel calmer. And once you learn to protect space, habit number 5 changes the way you decide what deserves to occupy it. Habit 5, make objects. Earn their stay. There is a Japanese word that is often translated too simply, Mottainai. People often reduce it to don't waste things, but it carries a deeper sense of regret over waste and misuse. Web Japan describes Mottainai as encouraging respect for objects and resources. Now here is the twist. Respecting objects does not mean keeping every object forever. In fact, keeping a drawer full of things you never use can become another form of neglect. Think about the maybe objects in your home, the cable for a device you no longer own, the expensive shirt you dislike but feel guilty donating, the kitchen gadget that solves a problem you do not have, the stack of reusable bags so large that the bags themselves have become waste, the broken item you plan to repair during a future version of your life, in which you apparently have unlimited free time. We keep these things because letting go feels irresponsible, but clutter can hide useful objects and turn possessions into forgotten inventory. So use a different question. Do not ask only, could I use this someday? Almost anything can win that argument. Ask, am I willing to give this object a real place, real care, and real use? That question makes an object earn its stay. If the answer is yes, respect it, repair it, store it properly, use it fully. If the answer is no, move it responsibly. Donate where appropriate, recycle where possible, sell what has value, and dispose according to local rules. Do not turn this into a decluttering marathon. Use what I call the one object audit. Once a day, choose one object that has been invisible to you for months. Hold it. Decide. One object sounds ridiculous, but over a year, that is 365 decisions your future self does not have to face. And there is another benefit. The fewer forgotten objects you own, the easier every other habit becomes. Surfaces stay open, storage becomes obvious, putting things away takes less effort because the destination is not already full. But there is still a problem. Even a carefully edited home can collapse when one person becomes the unpaid manager of everyone else's mess. That is why habit number 6 is not about objects at all. It is about ownership. Habit 6. Everyone cleans what? Everyone uses. A child drops crumbs, a parent wipes them, a partner leaves a cup, another carries it away. Repeat this for years and something strange happens. One person becomes the home's invisible cleaning department, while everyone else experiences cleanliness as a service. Japanese school cleaning offers a useful contrast. In many schools, students cooperate in cleaning the spaces they use. Japan's education ministry presents this as part of education and shared school life, not merely as outsourced maintenance. The powerful idea is not make children scrub everything. The idea is participation creates ownership. At home, this can be almost embarrassingly simple. The person who finishes the toilet paper replaces the roll. The person who empties the snack leaves no wrapper behind. The person who notices the trash is full closes the loop instead of balancing one more item on top. A child who can carry a toy can begin learning where that toy sleeps. A teenager who uses the kitchen can take part in resetting it. An adult who lives in the home should not need to be helping another adult as if the home belongs to only one of them. Many cleaning systems fail by creating a beautiful checklist for the most responsible person. That is not a system. It is a transfer of exhaustion. Try a shared reset instead. Set a timer for 6 minutes in the evening. Everyone who is home participates. No deep cleaning, no arguing over perfection. Each person restores the shared spaces they touched. One person clears cups, one returns shoes, one resets cushions and blankets, one handles obvious trash. 6 minutes, then stop. The point is not the amount you accomplish. The point is to destroy the belief that mess is private, but cleaning is somebody else's job. And if you live alone, this habit still matters. Think of yourself as a team across time. Morning. You should not abandon everything for evening you. Sunday, you should not be punished for Wednesday you's decisions. Shared responsibility can exist between versions of the same person. Now we reach habit number 7. This is the habit that prevents the first 6 from becoming another exciting system you follow for 9 days and then quietly abandon. It is the reset that expects you to fail. Habit 7. Reset before you need a rescue. Every system eventually breaks. You travel, get sick, work late, host guests, or simply have a difficult week. Suddenly, bags, boxes, laundry, and unopened mail multiply. A good home system cannot prevent this forever. The real question is how quickly can the home recover? Japan has a long tradition of Osoji, often described as a major year-end cleaning associated with preparing for the new year. The exact practice varies, and modern participation is not universal, but the underlying idea is powerful. At certain moments, you deliberately close one period and prepare the space for the next. Bring that logic into ordinary life with a weekly reset. Not a cleaning marathon, a reset. Choose one repeatable moment each week: Friday evening, Sunday afternoon, Monday after breakfast. The exact day matters less than the rhythm. Then move through the home in the same order every time. First, remove what is obviously trash. Second, return wandering objects to their homes. Third, deal with what can become worse if ignored: food, laundry, moisture, dishes. Fourth, clear one important surface. Fifth, prepare one thing for the week ahead. That final step is crucial. Maybe you refill the coffee station. Maybe you place work bags by the door. Maybe you put fresh towels out. Maybe you clear the kitchen counter so Monday starts with capacity. The reset should not leave you exhausted. It should leave the next few days easier. And here is the psychological advantage. When life gets messy, you no longer need to ask, when am I going to fix all of this? The reset already has an appointment. That reduces panic. A bad Tuesday does not mean the system is broken. A chaotic Thursday does not require a midnight cleaning spree. You know there is a return point. This is why habit number 7 makes the others permanent. Consistency does not mean never falling behind. Consistency means building a path back. Conclusion. So let us return to that Tuesday night. The shoes by the couch, the mail on the counter, the mug beside the bed, the jacket on the chair. None of those objects is a moral failure. A messy home does not mean you are lazy, broken, or incapable of discipline. It may simply mean your home is asking you to make too many decisions too late. The 7 habits we explored change the timing of those decisions. Build a border at the door so outside clutter does not travel. Finish the last 10 seconds so ordinary actions do not leave unfinished endings. Handle mess while it is still easy. Protect one piece of empty space. Make objects earn their stay through use and care. Turn cleaning into shared ownership. And create a weekly reset so a difficult week never becomes a permanent collapse. Notice what is missing from that list. There is no command to spend your entire Saturday cleaning, no demand for expensive organizers, no fantasy that you will wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. That may be the most useful lesson here. A calm home is rarely created by one heroic burst of motivation. It is created by small boundaries, small endings, and small returns. Tonight, choose only one habit, not 7. 1. Maybe you create a landing place for your keys. Maybe you protect one clear corner of the counter. Maybe you run a 6-minute reset before bed. Maybe you pick up one forgotten object and finally decide whether you are truly willing to care for it. Then watch what happens. Because when a home stops collecting unfinished decisions, cleaning begins to lose its power over your life. And slowly, almost quietly, the house gives something back. Not perfection, time, attention, a softer place to return to. And perhaps that is the real reason these habits matter. The goal was never to spend your life maintaining a beautiful home. The goal was to build a home that gives more of your life back to you. So which of these 7 habits would change your home the most? Write the number in the comments, and the next time you feel overwhelmed by a messy room, remember this. Do not start by cleaning everything. Find the point where the mess begins. Then interrupt it there.